Everyone, Craig Williams here, back with another video. In this video I'm going to give you some quick tips on helping you get faster in your productions and just get your workflow going a little bit better, and just so you can be creating tracks a lot faster without getting sort of stumped, just doing the sort of the menial tasks, or even just finding sounds that you like. So this is things that I like. Maybe you like all of these ideas, or if you don't like any of them, hopefully they might give you some ideas of your own to try and increase your speed and productivity. So the first one is the kind of just like a housekeeping thing. Um, for my tracks, I always had trouble finding them because I named them like really weird things, thinking that I would magically remember them because I named them such weird things, and it never worked. And I found this tip off one of my friends, and it works really well. So won't close that. If you go into Logic and you see here, this is obviously my traveling hard drive, so it doesn't have all the sessions on here, but you get the idea of what I'm going on. So I name them sequentially, and then I'll name them what genre it is after it, and then if I'm doing a collaboration with someone, I'll just have our initials. So you can see here, this was a remix for the track Yons, but it was 26, and this one here was the third track when I started the numbering system. It was a progressive track, and so on and so forth. So you tend to sort of remember where your tracks are, and you can find them a lot easier if it's numbered and stuff like that. And then as I finish the tracks, I just put a couple of little stars or the asterisks or whatever next to it, so then I know the track's finished and I don't have to go back in and maybe open it up to look for another session. Next one is another sort of housekeeping sort of thing, but this is like the biggest tip that I found, and it can take a lot of time initially, but it's really good, and it saves me lots of time, especially when I go and do collaborations with people in their studios. I just take my hard drive and we've got everything there, and that's proper naming of samples and stuff like that. So go down here and I've got samples, and then in here you can see I got my favorite samples. So I've just got like a handful of kicks and some bass sounds and that, some acapellas, and then as you see, you go down. So just say we're doing a sort of an electro track, I can go drum hits, come down, electro house, and then I've got all them. So we need a kick, and you can start scrolling through the different kicks until you find something you need. I know some people that will map them to a sampler, so then they can just load up a sampler instrument and start going through kicks. But personally, I just sort of didn't have the time, and I thought it was like another step which I didn't really need. So, but this is definitely a really good thing, is to have all these. I've got like percussion loops, and then things like bass multi samples. So if you don't want to use one of your synths, you just want something a little bit different, so you can go in. Where's a good one? The Fidget's got some cool basses, so you can go in here and just play some of the basses and then load them up to a sample instrument, and you've got another sound. So it's really good just to have them all categorized. So you could sort of go into, if you're going for like a more of a hip hop feel, you can start to pull in hip hop sounds, or so on and so forth for all the different genres. I mean, I'm sort of pretty anal with how I've set everything out, but it saved me lots of time, and it's a lot faster when I'm coming up with ideas. I can just open this, pull in some, I can just look for samples. I know where everything sits. I don't have to try and remember that it comes in this sample pack or whatever and stuff like that. So yeah, this is like the biggest tip that I can think of. And some people have already asked me where I get most of my samples from, and most of my samples have come from Computer Music and Future Music magazines. I've subscribed for like years and years now, so as I get more and more, I've just been building up more and more samples, and then and brought the occasional sample pack here and there to try and like bolster different sections that I wanted. The next one is something that I've kind of covered before, but if you're only just seeing this video of mine for the first time, is to have a template layout. So if I go new, won't close that, go down, and then I've got my template set up here. And it's the same template I've got on my computer at home. So as you can see, I've got all the ports already set up, and I'll only go through quickly, but I'll put a link to the other video. See, I've got my 20 audio, 10 MIDI, got some external, and I've got the rewire for reasoning in case I want to use that, and then I've got 10 audio down the bottom for remixes and stuff like that. And I've also got MPC and SP1200 quantizers in there, and I've also got the sidechain. It just didn't come up because it couldn't find the file because I made this on my home computer, so it's just a case of just putting that back in. But I know everything that I need to get going. And then if you go to the if we head over to the mix, I've already got all of my sends and returns, like a couple of them set up, so I can get workflow going nice and fast, and I can get everything going on. And I find that this is a lot easier. You know, you're always going to need a room reverb. I like the three sort of effect reverbs, and I got some delays and stuff like that. So they're just some things that I do to help increase my speed. And when I've got an idea, I can just open up this and then start going straight away. The next one is, wait till this clicks over, is to save channel strip settings and save presets where you know you're going to get them. So I've made this bass here. This is a remix. This is just an early version of a remix I'm doing for some guys in Australia. So I can just play it. So I've got this bass sound here, and I made that in massive, and I've got a fair sort of little chain going on there that I really like, so I can come along. And you can do this in Ableton as well. It's just saving your racks and stuff like that. So I want to go save channel strip setting as. I go along bass. We'll call this one. I guess it's electro, so we'll put it in there, and then we'll just put it as LFO bass. So then I've saved that in there, and I'll save that onto my computer at home to sync them both up. And then if I come along, add a software instrument, and come along here, bass, dubstep, electro, LFO bass. And then if I there you go, there's the sound that I've got, and it makes it a lot easier. So if you have some days where you're just making patches, you can save your settings here, and then when you're starting a track and you go, hey, I really remember that LFO bass or synth lead or whatever that I made, you can just come over here and just dial it up instead of going, okay, what plugins did I have on it, and all that sort of stuff. So my computer at home has tons and tons and tons and tons of pretty much every sound that I've made that I thought that was kind of original, or that I felt that I could use in some more productions. I've saved it in there. And even if you don't use it, you've got it as a focal point of one track. You don't have to have it in a focal point of another one. You can just have it as a layer to create like a bigger sound. Also with that, if you guys have seen any of my videos before, you'd know, here we go, you would have seen the setting, the gold sidechain. So if I find a setting that I like a sidechain setting or something like that, I'll come along and I've saved it in there as gold sidechain. So instead of having to do the settings for each one every time I open up the compressor, I just come down, dial that up, and pretty much good to go. Sometimes, depending on the BPM, it takes a little bit to get the release just right, but this is sort of like a really good um, starting point. It gets me in the area and I can just dial it in. So that's another thing that just really increases the speed at which you can start moving along. So instead of being bogged down by just doing like the little details, you can just be throwing lots of stuff at the computer and just getting some ideas down and trying to keep that creativity going. Um, and apart from that, uh, there's also just saving things like presets for synths and stuff like that, and making sure that you know where they're located, so then you can just call them up again. Um, so you don't have to go digging around and you've got sort of stuff strewn out all over your computer. And that's probably about it. That's like the main sort of things that I wanted to cover. Hopefully you guys got something out of that. And especially if you're just starting out, it's really good to start these practices early on. So then you can, like if you're just starting a sample collection, you can really organize it to start with. And if you've got a large one, I mean, it does take some time. It took me a while to get all mine sorted out, but now that it's like that, I can just keep adding to it, and it makes my life a lot easier, and I don't have to worry about finding samples. I can just worry about getting ideas and making the track to keep the rollover going and keep it going. So that's about it for now. Don't forget to subscribe, and don't forget to head over to my Facebook page and give it a like, and also my SoundCloud page, and follow me on that. And there's always new music going up there, and free music as well. So if you've got any questions, feel free to drop us a line. Until next time, I'll see you later.